So we are moving right along into the next card in the Major Arcana, and that is the Wheel of Fortune. So this card, as you might expect, depicts a very intricate wheel. So this is mine on the Scapini Tarot deck. Sorry for the glare on my tarot card. I'm trying to like get it angled so you can see it, but there's a wheel, and it's decorated with different letters that actually spell out the unpronounceable name of God, allegedly. So that is, again, as always, the description on the Rider-Waite tarot, but if you have a different type of tarot deck, the imagery might be a little bit different. A lot of people like redesign the tarot, which is awesome. So different artists have different ways of interpreting. I think that's super cool, but if you're just trying to learn and you're following along and you're like, I don't see that on my card, it's okay. That's the description from the Rider-Waite deck. Mine has just like a bunch of intricate pictures, and I don't know if you can see, it's actually all of the symbols from the zodiac. So you can see there's like a little ram for Aries and then fish for Pisces and so on and so forth. I'm sorry, my phone did a weird thing. I'm not sure where I was with that, so I'm sorry. But basically, I don't know if I talked about the zodiac signs. Mine has the zodiac signs on it, allegedly on some other cards, especially in the Rider-Waite tarot. It has the unpronounceable name of God. Outside of the Rider-Waite tarot deck, there is usually a snake outside the wheel. The snakes are down here on mine, so I don't know if you can see that, but there's two snakes. And on the left side of the card is the Egyptian god Typhon, and on the right is my man Anubis. Additionally, in the Rider-Waite tarot deck, there are 4 figures like spaced throughout the card, and those represent the 4 fixed signs of the zodiac, so 1 from each of the elements. I hope that makes sense. You can kind of see it on mine, like you have the guy here for the water, fire, these are like flames. I'm assuming that's air, and then that's earth. I'm not 100% sure, but that is kind of what I see in this card. So let's talk about this card in the context of a tarot spread. Upright, this card points to good luck, good fortune, destiny, progressing in your life cycle, like going on to the next step, kind of like the Hierophant was, but just a little bit different. It is really significant of a turning point in your life. So if you're getting this card when you're reading for like self or like what your life has ahead of you, this could be a pretty good omen. Now, reversed, it reminds us that like life is in a constant state of change, right? So the ever turning wheel, we talk about the wheel of the year and then changing of the seasons and stuff like that. So hopefully you can kind of see that imagery reflected in this card. But reversed, it kind of points towards, of course, bad luck, bad fortune, a reversal of fate, perhaps. It actually points to resistance to change, which can cause friction in your life. So perhaps if you are resisting something and you see this card reversed, it's like a sign that you need to, like you already kind of know what's happening. Just stop resisting change. Just let it happen, right? And then finally, this card, when reversed, really points to breaking of cycles and like stopping the negativity in your life, taking control of your life, and turning the wheel again with your willpower. So I kind of see the Wheel of Fortune as an omen card. Now, that's not necessarily a bad one, but it doesn't necessarily have like the same personality that one can take on, like the Hermit or the Empress or the High Priestess, right? And not saying that you have to embody those, but sometimes working with the energy of tarot cards is actually really cool in magic. And I think that having these archetypes in these symbols, not so much that they are deities or something to be worshipped, but they are energies that we can look up to and aspire to embody, and maybe kind of like serve as a touch point for our magical working. So that's kind of my take on this whole thing. But I feel like when you see the Wheel of Fortune in a tarot reading, it really sets the tone for the next like long-term period of time for your life. And that's kind of an unspoken thing that I don't know that I touched on before with the Major Arcana cards. Generally, if you are seeing a Major Arcana card, so anything that we've talked about so far and we'll be talking about this month, that isn't in the Minor Arcana, it kind of is an overarching theme rather than an acute answer to a question. So, they generally tend to address longer periods of time in your life, or maybe a major life event rather than like the day-to-day, like I was saying. So to be quite honest, this card like really gives me anxiety, but like I have talked about my anxiety at length. If you are new, like obviously I'm anxious. Hello, have you met me? No? Watch the rest of my videos and you will find out. But like whenever I see this, I'm like, what do you mean I'm not in control of my own life and my own destiny? That's insane. And like to an extent, I am. I do have the power to make things happen. However, when I do see the Wheel of Fortune, sometimes I'm just like, something bad is coming, or something good. Like it's just anxious. Like I'm just anxious. I'm like, what's happening? Now, that being said, I don't really see this card a whole lot in my own readings. I'm not sure I'm like there for I haven't had a lot of turning points recently where I've like realized things. Well, it's been through deity work rather than tarot reading, but part of my whole life journey, I think I've realized recently via working with Hecate, is like coming to terms with the fact that I just like can't control everything in my life, which is really difficult for me. Hello, I'm a Virgo. I'm an earth sign. And it's like something that like I'm working on, you know, and like going with the flow is something that I'm definitely trying to work on unsuccessfully, but whatever, it's fine. I got time, I think. But like I said, like as an earth sign, like going with the flow and like changing and just like being okay with changes is just like really difficult for me. But it's also like I'm realizing like this card specifically is a reminder that life is constantly in a state of flux and we have to be okay with that and just kind of roll with it a little bit. So I know I'm constantly white knuckling it through life. Hopefully this card, if it does come up for me in readings, can remind me to stop and just to take a break and you know, that I do have control over smaller aspects of my life, but maybe not all the powers that be, I guess. I think it kind of is a card that humbles you in your greatest of times, as a reminder that like, hey, you know, like I know everything's great right now, but as life naturally does, and we naturally kind of take life naturally takes its course, you know, we run into obstacles and that's just a reality. And on the converse, it also like empowers us when we're at our weakest. Like if we are down like really in the depths and we get the Wheel of Fortune, it could be a sign to like keep going and that everything's going to be okay, which I think is really beautiful. It's awesome. I think also to an extent, I know I keep going on about this, but this card like really deals with the power, like the concept of like willpower and intuition, which are two things that we learned when we talked about the Magician and the High Priestess. And I know I talk about those two cards a lot. I think I just really identify with them because that's kind of like the phase of my life I like see myself in, like those first steps, right? Like I'm not the fool anymore, and if we're following the fool's journey through life. What I mean to say is that I think it takes a lot of willpower to move the Wheel of Fortune when you are feeling your lowest, and I think that is a really powerful thing to do. And I think that if you just continue to keep going, even when you are feeling down and feeling stressed or feeling upset, you know, or depressed or whatever obstacles you may be facing, I think that it takes a lot of power and a lot of willpower to get through that. I also think that, you know, relying on your intuition, even in the best of times, can be hard because you're like, oh, everything's great, like how could, but you know, when you rely on your intuition to see certain things, you can kind of keep the wheel upright a little bit, which I think is also beautiful. So it's a good reminder to like be thankful for what we have. You know, the wheel will turn, and to prepare for when our fortunes reverse, because it's inevitable, right? And I think that's really the beauty of witchcraft, is learning how to take control of your life, and also like to an extent, like when you're not feeling great, but also to appreciate and prepare for those not so great times again. So you know what to do and you can get through them easier every single time it happens. So I really think that's a beautiful thing that witchcraft has taught me. And I think it's just another method of paving the way for our futures ahead. So I know I talked a lot about this. I wasn't expecting to. I kind of just like was divinely inspired perhaps. But I hope you guys are enjoying this series. If you are a patron, I did post the Patreon schedule. I don't know if you saw that. I'm trying to schedule out when I'm adding extra content. I am just super busy right now and I am really sorry. But this weekend, hopefully I'll be able to get a lot of stuff done, and we're gonna have some really cool stuff. So I'll be posting Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. So it won't necessarily be all related to the videos that I'm making now. I guess for people who aren't patrons, if you guys wanna listen to my little spiel really quick, Mondays are gonna be like meditation Mondays because I really like meditation. I wanna get back into it. So I'll be posting a guided meditation, as well as a written one that you can put into your Book of Shadows and use whenever you want. On Wednesdays, it's going to be a spell for your Book of Shadows of like any kind. All of these spells are personal ones that I use or have used in the past to some great effect. So they are personally from my Book of Shadows, which is kind of just like a fun, like personal thing that I want to do for my patrons. And then Friday, I couldn't come up with a cool, like alliterative name. So I'm going to be doing deity profiles on Fridays because I really like learning about mythology and stuff like that. So, yeah, and like Monday was already taken by Meditation Monday, so I couldn't do like Mythos Monday, but that would be cool. Anyways, then Saturdays I'm going to be doing the full upload of all of the videos. So I hope that works for everybody. If you're not a patron, definitely check it out. I definitely want to transition into doing this full time, so you know, helping support that would make my dreams come true, not to be annoying. And as always, my content will always be free on here. There are no ads, I should say, on Patreon for the videos, but there are here, and all of that kind of helps make this a reality. So I want to just thank everybody for like watching and just supporting me, and it's just been really fun. So yeah, that's my little spiel. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.